Before we get started, I got a question for you. Have you ever felt like you were just wasting your money with Facebook ads, that you'd be better off just taking a lighter and just torching it, because that's the same effect you're having with Facebook ads? Well, if that sounds like you, then this is the interview that you don't want to miss. So make sure you stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to The Motivated Marketer, the show that will give you the motivation, inspiration, and information you need to stay motivated in your online business. And now, here's your host, Sherri-Lee Woycik.
What's going on, my motivated members, and welcome to The Motivated Marketer, this show where I'm going to give you the motivation, inspiration, and information you need to stay motivated in your online business. So psyched to do this today. Just in case this is the first time you've been here and you don't know who I am, some people consider me a video marketing expert, but I consider myself a video marketing educator. My name is Sherri-Lee Woycik, and I help digital marketers, course creators, and entrepreneurs to get more leads, more sales, and ultimately more freedom in their life and in their businesses using the power of video marketing. Let me do this. Let me just lower the music on this. Just give me 1 second. Really love that song. Let me just turn it off completely. So, what do we have going on today? Well, you have got a very special treat today. I don't want to spoil the surprise exactly who it is, but if you are reading the title of this, you know exactly who it is. So, I have a Facebook ad expert who's going to teach you how to do things like, if you want to know what the Facebook pixel is and how to use it, or if you want to learn how to get more engagement on your fan page, or you just want general Facebook ads help, she's got you covered. This was a fantastic interview, and she gave a lot of knowledge. So you know what? Let me just check one more thing. Before I go any further, let's just jump right into this interview. Sherri-Lee Woycik is a Facebook marketing and ads expert and founder of Social Media Minder. Sherri-Lee's mission is to help heart-centered entrepreneurs get more clients and customers from Facebook so that they can spend less time working and more time fulfilling their life's missions. Sherri-Lee provides done-for-you Facebook ad services and teaches entrepreneurs how to use Facebook to get more clients and customers with ease. And now, it is with great pleasure and honor we go on to that interview with Sherri-Lee Woycik. Hey everybody, Sherri-Lee Woycik here, and I am so honored to have Sherri-Lee Woycik with me. Sherri, thank you so much for being here with me today. I do appreciate it.
Hey, Jory. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on here with you and to be talking to you. It's awesome. Thank you for inviting me.
It is my pleasure. Sherri, could you tell me, where are you in the country? Because I'm here in New York. Where are you?
I am not in your country, first off.
Okay.
I'm in Canada, on the west coast of Canada, Vancouver, BC. Beautiful Vancouver.
Okay. For most of us, because I've had other Canadians on, for most of us here in the States, we have one reference point that we know, and that is Niagara Falls. Where are you in reference to that?
Okay, do you know where Seattle is?
Yes.
Okay, 3 hours north.
Okay. Wow, that's a big jump. You know, I forget how big Canada really is.
Well, we're huge. Yeah, it's about 3,000 miles from Niagara Falls to where I am. approximately.
I always forget that. I got to remember because, we're so used to like, we have the United States and then we have the States and we just think of like, our little place in the world, that's what everywhere else is. And that's not true. Other places are even bigger than the United States. So I got to remember that Canada is really big. Okay. So that gives me a reference point.
And we've got about 1/10 of your population. So we got lots of space too.
Wow. I didn't think about that either. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know what you do, but my audience doesn't know what you do. So can you tell me in your own words, who is Sherri-Lee and what you do?
Okay, so that's a loaded question. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. I'll give you Cole's notes and try to make this condensed because I don't think you have, as long as that could take because I've been around for a while. First and foremost, I'm a mom. And that is at the heart of everything I do. So my business has come out of being a mom. And that guides everything I do. But I spend my working time managing Facebook ads accounts for my clients, running Facebook funnels, Facebook ads, creating lead magnets, growing email lists with Facebook ads, helping people fill live events, drive traffic to brick and mortar local businesses, selling out events. I do that on Facebook for my clients, and I teach it to entrepreneurs who want to learn how to do it themselves, people who are starting out, or people who just want to, do it themselves, not want to outsource it to somebody. So I do the outsourcing side, and I teach it to people who want to learn. And then in my free time, I run around my kids to Taekwondo and take it myself and walk the dogs and have fun and see the world.
Sounds awesome. See, this is how I met you. I think it was an ad that I saw, but you have trained me as well on this. And I got to tell you, because I've spoken about you to other people, and I want my audience to know, you give a metric ton of free information. I have bought, because this is why I had you on, I have bought paid courses that have cost thousands of dollars that are nowhere near the information you give away free. So that, for me, number one, just has floored me.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. I see you're a very giving person, and I try to align myself with like-minded people. So from the get-go, I was like, wow, look at all of the things that she'll teach you. I mean, I don't think there's a question I have not asked you yet that you just didn't just answer. You didn't say, because what I normally get is this well, that's a great question. Inside my $4 million course.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? You know what? Information is free. It doesn't cost me anything to give people information. Some people like you are going to go and run with it and, make the most of it. And I love that because you're going to remember that I gave you that information, go for it. But the majority of the people are going to take the information and still want some hand-holding, still want some accountability, still need some other depth or perspective to that information. And that's when they come back to me and say, okay, well, if you gave me that for free, now what can I do? How can I, is there a program? Is there a course you're offering? Something where I can get more involved with you. So it's a win-win for me in my world if I can, help people out and give free information. I don't need to charge $4 million for a course. Although I can only do that once. If I did that once, then I'd be sad, right?
That's right.
Give everything else away for free.
You never have to do it again. Never have to get another client. You're right. I agree with you.
That's right. Okay, let's look for that $4 million client.
I'll help you.
A lifetime contract.
Now there's an idea. A lifetime contract. Never thought of that one before. Okay, we got to put that one in the books.
I can see that. Yeah, there you go.
So Sherri-Lee, let me ask you because... Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Because I know I got into certain things because I fell into some of them. Other things I actually went after. But as far as I know, there is no school that certifies you in Facebook ads. How did you get into this?
Oh, you're right about that. I mean, there are some people out there saying they will certify you in Facebook ads, but it's not, it's not like going to Harvard or any university and getting an official course, if you will. I fell into this. That's really what it was. I mean, I created a business before this one. I was homeschooling my kids, And, if you've ever had kids, you know how much kids love getting mail, right? So every day I was faced with my kids jumping at the mailbox. Is there mail for me? Is there mail for me? And then we went away for a holiday, and I sent them postcards while we were away so that they would get them when we got home, and they got so excited and they treasured this mail. So I actually created a mail service for kids that sent them beautiful cards that I created that had a picture out of one of 12 categories. And then on the back was educational information, because I wanted to hit that homeschooling piece. And then I created worksheets that they could do as well. And so I created this business and I started marketing it. And what's the first thing I did was I bought a really expensive booth at a very high traffic local show that was going to have like 50,000 of my target audience there that weekend. Cost me a fortune to get the booth. I was gone for 15 hours a day. I could not talk to 50,000 people. I think I sold a couple of subscriptions. That was it. Most of the ladies there were there to see the firemen. And over that same weekend, I actually had an ad go out in an online magazine, a parenting online magazine. And I came home from that weekend and I had a dozen sales from that ad that cost me a fraction. And I sat down on the Monday. I remember very clearly sitting down the Monday and going, wait a minute, there's something here. I don't need to leave my family for a weekend, have it cost me a fortune, and I can still grow my business. And I remember that day I created my first Twitter account and my first Facebook page and started figuring out what the heck do I do to make this work, and just started really trying to figure out what this was all about. Now, this was back in 2008. So, there wasn't much going on in Facebook. There certainly wasn't any ads happening at that point. It was kind of the Wild West. It was like everybody just threw things to see what worked, and there was a lot of real wild marketing going on. And after about a year and a half of that, I'd grown the mail business, but I realized I was sick of stuffing envelopes every week or every month, and my kids were helping to stuff the envelopes. They were kind of sick of it, but I was enjoying the social media side of it. And so I decided, in a local networking group that I was in, there was a lot of ladies there saying, I want to know how to do this for my business and I don't know how. And I thought, I can teach them. I know how to teach. I know how to create this content. I know how to break it down so that they only do the things that they really need to do, because they've got so much else going on. So about 6 months after that, I started offering local courses, teaching people how to use Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So those were the big three at the time. And started offering those courses, was doing, a workshop a month. I was not looking to build a full-time business that supported my family. I was married and my husband was self-employed, and he was supporting the family. So this was just a side gig for me. And about 6 months after I started offering those workshops, he decided he no longer wanted to be married. And so my marriage ended, and I was left literally overnight to support my family. He changed the locks on my home while I took the kids out swimming one day. And that was the end of our marriage. And he left so he could make sure not to pay any child support. So I literally went, well, I got to make some money to support these kids, and went into that mama bear mode. And people started saying to me, I've taken your workshop, but I still don't want to do it. Would you manage it for me? And I went, hell yeah. Sure. Okay. I'll figure out what that looks like. And I started, figuring it out. And then I discovered the University of San Francisco Online had a course in a certificate in advanced social media. So I took that as well. And I did that for a couple of years. In 2013, I worked with a Facebook marketer who just said to me, you've got to narrow it down to one network and focus on it. And that's when I said, hey, Facebook's going to be my platform. I love Facebook. I get my best results there. Facebook ads are really powerful. That's it. And I just said, that's it. And so now I've taken, all of those courses that you can find out there around Facebook ads. I stay connected to those people who are really leading the pack with some unique and creative marketing. And I spend a lot of time just playing around, figuring things out, what works and what doesn't work. Because the number one thing to know about Facebook marketing is 90% of what you do isn't going to work the way you think it's going to. So if you release yourself from thinking 90% of your time is a failure and realize it's market research, and 10% of the time is a success, and you can make that success even bigger and better if you focus on the 90% of market research time and learn from that. It's just a lot of trial and error in most cases. And now I have a system that I know works, and I teach that to people, but I can almost guarantee you in a year that system's going to have changed, because those things may not work the same way. Or, as we're seeing with messenger ads, those are coming up, and there's a whole new platform to advertise into on Facebook now.
I had to say, you're very humble and you're elegant the way you said that your husband didn't want to be married anymore.
That's what I figure. I think that was a pretty clear message of that.
It was very clear. Yes, you got the message across, but it's the way you said it. You could have said it another way. I like the way you chose it, but the one thing I've realized is out of bad situations, a good thing happens. My mother would always tell me, like, when one door closes, another one opens.
Yep.
So, whereas I'm going to say to you, I'm really sorry that happened. I'm sorry he chose to do that. I don't think, I don't know what was going on in his world. I don't know the guy, but being a man, I just don't think you walk away from people. However, if he didn't do that, I know myself and a lot of other people wouldn't have gotten the benefit of you and your information and the gift that you brought out in the world. So I'm kind of, I don't want to say it like, hey, I'm glad to, but I'm grateful that I got to meet you.
Thank you. That's so sweet. And let me just tell you, a year after he left, I remember saying to my kids, I'm going to make sure this was the best thing that ever happened to us.
I'm glad you did.
I decided a year after he left that this was going to be a great thing, because I was not going to let this be the negative defining moment of our lives, because that didn't feel good. So I've been committed for 5 years, or 6 years since he's been gone, 5 years for sure, to make sure that we have a better life. We have better mindset, better attitude, better adventures, better everything because of that. And I haven't seen him or talked to him. That was a gift he gave me.
I love your attitude. I love your attitude on that. And you know what? I hope somewhere in his travels, he gets to see this interview and realizes what a mistake he made on his end, but it was the best thing he could have given you. Because you're right. He did, in a way, give you a gift. And I like that you chose not to be defeated by it. You said, you know what? This happened to me, but I'm going to make this work, because most people don't do that. It's easy for people to say, people like to take the negative. It's really easy to say, oh, it's raining outside and my life sucks and the car doesn't work. And that's the easy thing. It's really hard to find the positive in it. And you took that positive and blew it up and made it shine. And like I said, I am grateful, because if you didn't do this, I don't think I would have met you, because then you wouldn't have gone and started teaching Facebook. You wouldn't have done any of this. You just would have gone on. Yep. Life as usual. So I'm grateful that it happened in the way that it did.
Well, and I'm so grateful I got to meet you and so many amazing people, that this journey has brought into my life, that I've learned huge amounts from, for sure, and who have impacted my life. It's been tremendous, really. So I'm grateful for the whole thing too.
Awesome. I'm glad you brought this up, because I had a couple of people ask me, and you just brought, with one question, you answered all of their questions. So I'm glad. Now, I promised some people I'd ask you a couple of questions. I'm only going to ask you 2.
Okay.
Can you explain what the Facebook pixel is? Because I tried, and I think, like, when I got through, they were like, so I'm going to let you do it, because you're the expert.
Okay, so have you ever gone out onto Google or whatever search engine you use? I think there's a few other search engines besides Google. But have you ever gone out and searched for vacation or places to stay on vacation, or flights, or restaurants or anything like that? Have you done Google searches like that and then ended up back on Facebook and seen ads in your newsfeed for the exact same thing you were just looking at?
All the time. I do it on Amazon all the time. I'll look at something and go, wait, I just looked at that. How are they doing that?
Right. That's the Facebook pixel. That's what that does. So it's a little tiny piece of HTML code, which is your website coding language. Don't worry, you don't need to be techie. You don't need to know anything about this code except how to copy and paste. If you have an ads manager on Facebook, this code can be made for you. You click a button, Facebook makes it. You click another button, you copy it. And then if you're like me, you send it off to your website guy and say, put it on my website, because I don't even want to do that. That's too much for me. So, I just say, put it on my website. Facebook tells you exactly where to put it. And it doesn't change the look of your website or the function of your website in any way. Nobody knows that it's there. But the next time somebody comes to your website, that little piece of code leaves what's called a cookie on their computer. It's just a little tracking note. Then they head back to Facebook, and now you could set up an ad that says to them, hey, you were just on my website. Did you look at this page? Did you read this blog post? But now they know who you are a little bit. So this is called retargeting. And because they know you, your relationship's a little bit different than if they'd never heard of you. So that's cold traffic. This is retargeting, what's called warm traffic. People who've been on your website and know you. And now you can use that pixel to separate specific pages on your website. So you can say to Facebook, run an ad to people who've been on this page, but not on that page, because you want to drive them to that second page. Or you could tell them to run an ad to people who've been on your sales page, but they never made it to the thank you page, so you know that they haven't made the purchase that they were looking at. Maybe they abandoned the cart and walked away.
Right.
Now you can, when they hit Facebook, you can run an ad to them and say, hey, you didn't finish this off. Don't forget, those bonuses finish at midnight. And re-nudge them back to that sales page. And how personal is that now? That takes marketing to a whole nother personal level, where the person reading it goes, oh, wow, they remember me.
Right.
That's the pixel. And that is something that big companies have done, like Amazon and Google and all those places. But now small companies can do it. Anybody with a website can do it. And it's really powerful to making your ads convert at a lower cost.
See, I think you explained it. Actually, I don't think you explained it eloquently, because I took it a whole other route. I think what confuses people is, like you were mentioning, okay, they say they want to try it. They go, they look at Facebook, and the first thing they see is that code. And that right there is another language to them. So they get afraid. And I know a confused mind does nothing. So that's exactly what they do. They go, I don't want to do this. But if they would just, like you said, hand it off to someone who does know how to do it, get it on your site or your page or wherever you're going to put it, and let it start to do the work for you, because you see it all around you. You just don't know how it's happening and how it's working.
Yeah, exactly. It's super powerful.
Well, now we brought that up. How exactly, because you mentioned retargeting, how are they doing it? Amazon, for example, how are they doing that so quick that I'm on Amazon and I'm looking at, for example, I'll pick up this battery. They see me looking for this exact battery. And the second I go to Facebook, that pixel can hit you that fast. How are they doing it that quick?
It's instant.
It is instant.
It's
okay.
Instant. But what happens is they've already got the ad for the battery running. So they probably have, their top 100 popular pages that people land on, and they probably have those ads running in advance. But they only show to people who have that cookie from the code. So if they're sitting on Facebook waiting to be activated by a person who's looked at that page, and as soon as they come back to Facebook, it triggers that action to put that ad in your newsfeed. And
okay.
That's what Facebook does.
See, that's where I and a lot of other people got confused too. We're thinking that, okay, we understand, or we hear about this pixel. We think that when the pixel hits us, that it does, and it's doing all this cool stuff. But you just explained that they're already running that ad for that battery. Right. I just happened to land on the page. Okay, so that's why it's
Right.
so quick. That's what confused me because I was like, wow, that's how they're doing
I
it.
know it's super quick, but it's planned in advance, right? Like if I've got a Facebook ads challenge coming up, as you know, and so I've got a landing page and I've got a thank you page, and I'm going to start those ads today to run to that. So one of the things I do pre-ad setup is make sure that I have got those URLs entered and targeted for people who have those pixel codes on their computers to see those ads. So I do that pre the ad going out, but all I have to do is say to Facebook once, anybody that landed on this page from my website using this pixel sees this ad. Then as long as that ad is got a budget to it and is approved, it'll show up to anybody who happens to come back to Facebook with that for as long as I want to run that ad for.
Gotcha. Okay, because now you're answering another question for me too, because I once saw an ad, was interested, clicked it, didn't do anything else, just clicked the ad, and it brought me to a page. And there was no opt-in, no anything. Read the article, thought it was interesting. Went back to Facebook and it said, hey, did you read this paragraph on that article? That fast. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And it was like, if so, click the ad. So, okay, click the ad, which brought me to another page that had another article, which I read. And when I went back to Facebook, another ad, and I'm looking going, what, like, are they stalking me? How are they doing this so fast? So you're explaining they had all this stuff. The ads were already being, okay, that's what it is. I didn't get it. I was like, this is a magical little button, this pixel thing. You do this and it does all this stuff. Now I understand how it does it.
It is. If you follow John Loomer at all, he did an amazing experiment. I think it's probably at least a year, maybe a year and a half ago now, where he did a cool experiment with that, where he ran an ad and you clicked on it, went to a blog post, and the blog post was a quiz that helped you to figure out if you were a beginner, intermediate, or advanced Facebook advertiser. So you answered the quiz and you fell into one of those three categories. So you had 3 pages, beginner, intermediate, advanced. After you did the quiz, you entered your answers, you clicked get my results, you were sent to one of those 3 pages. Then when you went back to Facebook, you saw ads on Facebook based on which one of those 3 pages you landed on that would drive you to a program of sale for the level of skill that you had in Facebook ads. It was a cool study that he did.
Wow, okay, and again, just so you've explained to me or breaking it down, he planned that all out ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He got all those pages and the ads approved ahead of time.
Yep.
And then depending on where you landed in the quiz was the pixel.
Yep.
You hit the page, the pixel fires, and now it knows what other ads to serve you. And that's how the whole thing works.
Absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. It's very powerful. It can get complicated too.
Yeah.
But for people starting out, it's super powerful just to get that pixel on your website and start building that audience of your website traffic. That's ground zero. Start there and then work on getting more complex and, with your paths and routes. You've got to plan them out. Then worry about that. But first, get that pixel installed. That's the key.
Right. So you have somewhere to start because without that pixel, you can't do anything.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other question my group of friends have asked me. Well, I guess I have 3 questions now. You don't just drop that on one page, you drop it on your whole site, is that correct?
Correct. So if it's a WordPress website, you want to put it in the head tag of the template, and then it goes on all pages. So you want it on all pages of your website, no matter what form you're using for, hosting your website.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you too many more technical stuff. I want people to get into your training, but I will ask you this. In your opinion, I'm not going to pick any one type of business, but in your opinion, is there any type of Facebook ad that we should be running all the time if we want to try to get people in to see us from cold traffic? What kind of ad should we be running all the time?
Yeah, so we've talked about retargeting. So these are people who already know you a little bit. They've been to your website. You can also upload your email list that you have onto Facebook and retarget those people in ads, which is a really cool thing to do. You can build what Facebook calls lookalike audiences from those. So they're people that have similar characteristics on their Facebook profiles as your email list does, and they're cold to you though, they don't know you. Those are really important, but you've constantly got to be filling your system, your funnel, with cold traffic that doesn't know you. You've got to have some sort of path happening where you offer a lead magnet or a freebie, and you run ads for that to people who don't know you yet. And this is the introduction. It's like the first date where they're going to see if you really have the goods and if they really want to get to know you a little bit better. And they give you their email address for you to send them the freebie. So I think you constantly have to be running ads to grow your email list with cold traffic, and then you want to work on retargeting them and nurturing them with a really good email sequence to get them to, get into your Facebook groups, to buy your programs, to buy your services, to hire you in some capacity. So it's not step one, but it's probably one of the most important things that I think people need to do, is constantly be growing that email list. That's an important asset that you own. If you grow your Facebook page, that's super important as well for social proof. You want that and authority positioning, but you never own your Facebook page. Facebook does. And
right.
You could wake up one morning to it being gone and all those connections gone. If you haven't claimed those email addresses, if you haven't gotten them to give you their email addresses, you're going to start it all over again. So always be collecting email addresses by adding value, giving away incredible information that helps your ideal clients solve their biggest problem in exchange for their email address.
Gotcha. Okay. And then from there, we could go further into you got the pixel, and then you want to retarget them. And then from there, you can build out your funnel and plan things out.
Correct. And going back to the challenge that I'm doing in a couple of weeks, it's the same sort of thing. I'm bringing cold people who don't know me yet through offering them the challenge. That's the lead magnet. They're going to get a heap of information on how to set up their first high converting Facebook ad. So it's a 5-day challenge. They're going to want that. They sign up. I don't know them. They don't know me. They end up in my email list. Then they're going to get a series of emails to let them know that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sell them anything at all. Then I'm also going to make sure that when they are on Facebook, they're going to see ads that drives them to my blog posts that also will deepen that relationship and build my Facebook pixel on my website. Then they're going to participate in that challenge, and I'm going to keep their participation high by, sharing the Facebook live streams into my email list and onto my website and heading those people back to those sources so that they can see it. Eventually, there's a sale at the end of it, and that's going to include newsletters, blog posts, and Facebook ads. They all work together, and when you get them together, the conversion rate goes up and the cost goes down, because you're asking people who already know you to now deepen the relationship, and they want to do it more than you have to. You don't have to sell as hard. They just want to do it because you've led them there with this smart funnel.
Well, you are like a wealth of knowledge. You're a wizard at this. You've already got this all planned out. The more you explain this, the more I'm starting to go. My mind's expanding. I'm going, oh, so you could do this, and that could lead to this, and I want to ask you all these questions, but I'm not going to. And plus, I want my viewers to come and sign up for your challenge, because I took your challenge. I thought that was awesome. Like I said, I'm not going to name names, but there are some bigger names out there that I have bought their course, and after I watched and went through all the training and everything they did, I was still like, okay, and what do I do? And you would think, for the amount of money that you paid, that you should now know how to do this, go out and use it immediately. And you stumble, you have problems, you fall. And then to even go a little further, I've had the pleasure I know a couple of other Facebook experts that run the ads for these people, and then you find out that the things that they're teaching you is not even what they do. But back to your challenge, you give away more in my opinion, you give away more information than a lot of these paid courses, and you teach people exactly what to do step by step. And unlike these paid courses from these so-called experts, you're on the challenge, you come on live. I mean, what a trooper you were when I took your challenge. I think you were sick, yeah. But you were there. You were there every day, though. Every day you were there answering questions. And I was on the other day. You know, I wasn't on camera with you, but I was on the other end going, oh, my God, she's so sick and she doesn't feel well. And I'm looking for cold medicine to send you. And, oh, what recipes can I get her? And every day you were there giving out content. And these are the things that make an impact on me, because I tell my clients, too, because they realize it with me, too. For example, they can ask me a question in the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, and I answer them. And one of the things they've told me is, well, you know what? I've tried to do that with so-and-so, and 6 weeks later, I get their customer service department on, hey, can we help you with this? And you're not like that. You answer questions, you give away the information, you genuinely want to help people. And that's what I love about you, and that's why I wanted you on here. I want people to see you. I want to get you out to as many people as I can so they can get exposed to the way you do things and your love and your expertise.
Thank you so much. That's made my day.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you. But I want to see people succeed. And, you know, that challenge you took is not the same challenge that's coming up. It's a different one. And I had made a commitment to those people. I had a couple of hundred people sign up for that challenge, and I made a commitment to them. And I didn't do much else that week, but I was there, and it just needed to be done. It never even dawned on me to not do that. But, you know, I think it's sad to me when I hear, and I mean, I've been in the same situation as you, where I've taken course after course after course and walked away and said, but this, I still don't know what to do. I still don't understand this the way I want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, this is not what I see you actually doing. So you're teaching me something completely different, and feeling really annoyed by that. And that has always been a guiding principle. When I create a challenge, when I create a program, when I create even a new offer for a one-on-one client, it always comes down to, how can I make myself redundant so that they can go off and do it themselves? Because I know deep down that's not really going to happen. There will always be people who are so busy in their zone of genius doing the thing that they're awesome at that they don't want to learn Facebook ads. That's what I spend all day doing. And so there will always be people who need to learn, no matter how much I give away. I'm sure of it.
But you're good at it. And you're right. That's your zone of awesomeness. You know, that's your lane. You stay in it, but you're really, really good at it. But for someone like me who's techie and I want to know all these little things, you explain it so very well. And like I said, even the challenge, like I asked you little questions and I wasn't sure if you're going to answer me, because for me, they were like high level questions in these courses that I paid for. And you didn't hesitate. You answered immediately and explained the whole thing. And I'm on the other end trying to write down notes as fast as I can. And so you had me glued every day, no matter what I did. And like I said, we spoke earlier. You and I have busy schedules. I have other interviews I have to do. I have my mastermind level clients that I spend time with. I rearranged that week. I rearranged everything so I would not miss your training, because I couldn't get over. I was like, what? I always said to people, there's got to be somebody out there that's like, they're heart-centered. They're really going to try and help people. It's not all about, you're just a conversion and you're just another sale to me. Because that's how these other people, to me, they make you feel. You're just, hey, you spent $1,000 with me. That's it. I don't need to ever see you again, talk to you again. You know, I gave you 6 videos and you're good. You're not that way. You help people. You're genuine. You're authentic. And you had me glued. Like I said, I rearranged my entire schedule to make sure I was there. Plus, I was saying to myself, listen, if she's sick and she's making sure she's there, I think I can make the time to do it too.
Well, thank you. I appreciated you being there. You always brought great questions. You know, you're fun in the group. I mean, that's part of what I love about doing.
Sherri-Lee, sorry about that. Technology is a wonderful thing. We had technical issues for the viewers that are watching live. Don't know what it is, but we're back. Sherri, I could keep you here all day and ask you all sorts of questions, but I know you have clients and things to get to. So please tell my viewers how they can learn and get in touch and do more things with you.
Well, I've totally enjoyed this conversation, Jory. I could sit and chat with you too. We were just talking about that. You're going to have to come to Canada. I'll show you the sites, take you out for a drink, and we could sit and talk endlessly, because I could pick your brain about a whole bunch of stuff too, I'm sure. So obviously, I love to connect with people on Facebook. That's my favorite place to hang out during the day. So I'm on there. You've got my name, so you can certainly search for me. But I love hanging out in my group that Jory's in, and that almost 2,000 other entrepreneurs are in, that I get to engage with people and connect with them on a regular basis. It's a pretty fun group, I think. Jory would agree.
I would agree.
It's called the Badass Facebook Marketing Club. So you can search for that, or you can just put in facebook.com/groups/SMM Badass, and come and join us and be a badass, and we'll have fun. We'll hang out.
Awesome. Like I said, I'm going to put that link in the show notes so they can just click it. They don't have to go and search for anything. They can just go click and they've got a hold of you.
Fabulous. Everyone's welcome. The more the merrier.
Awesome. And I think the group is great. And I like telling people, hey, I'm part of the badass group and you're not.
Yeah.
Sherri-Lee, again, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really do appreciate it. And please, keep doing what you're doing, because it's people like you out there. You have a gift, you have a talent, and you're genuine, and you really want to help people. It's people like you that I look for, and I want, the reason why I had you on, like I said, I want more people to know about you because you're genuine. We spoke earlier, we talked about how there's other gurus out there that say they know Facebook and they know this and they know that, and I told you that their courses left me wanting more. They were very lacking. In my opinion, your free stuff was better than their paid. So I want as many people to be exposed to you as possible.
Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And I'm so grateful to have met you. It's fabulous. And you know what? That happened through Facebook ads. That's terrific.
And when this is over, we're going to talk more about that.
That's right. For sure. Awesome. Thank you so much again. I appreciate it. I've had so much fun being here with you.
Awesome. Thank you again. I do as well. You know, that was an awesome interview. Sherri-Lee, she gave away so much free content. She really knows her stuff and she can really help you. So I want to make sure that if you want to do stuff with Facebook ads, make sure you go sign up to her group. The link is in the description below. And I also want you to take away that, yes, I do this show and I try to give you tips and techniques that you can take and use in your own online business. But I also want you to see that the people that you might think that just had overnight success, that they've always had it easy, that they're just huge and you're not, that's not true. They had to work, they had to struggle at it. And if you remember from the first thing she said in the beginning, that she was married and because her marriage went wrong is why she started doing what she was doing. So if everything stayed the way it was, she never would have made that change. So when I say this, I mean, I am grateful to have met her because of what have happened. Now, I don't mean that I'm so grateful that she had her marriage implode. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that because it did, she made one change and she turned that negative into a positive. And I just think that is so, so awesome. And you can do the same thing. Don't let these things discourage you, because I'll be honest with you and tell you, I have complained like there's no tomorrow when it comes to Facebook ads. I just couldn't figure this out, but I'm one of those people that I just don't give up. I don't let things like that overcome me or overwhelm me. So I just kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. And finally, I started making headway with it. But when I met Sherri-Lee and just took just a few little techniques that she mentioned, that's when things start to skyrocket. So you can do the exact same thing. Take what you learned today from this and apply it to your own life and your own business. And before I end this episode, let me leave you with this one last thing. Once again, thank you so very, very much for spending your valuable time with me. I do so appreciate it. And remember, no one has the exact same skill sets as you because you are unique. And it would be a shame for you to take those unique gifts with you to the grave, never having shared them with the world. Don't rob the world of your greatness because guess what? You are unique and your voice matters. Let me help you to share your special gifts with the world. Once again, my name is Jory Holness, the Motivated Marketer, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.